When this is over, you will have seen what a creative volunteer can do, albeit she has all these advantages. But not everyone who has all these advantages accomplishes 1/50th of what Charlotte does. This video gives you an example of who Charlotte Jones Anderson is all about, what she's all about, what she has done with her life. But before I elaborate on that, I want to tip my hat to parents Jean and Jerry Jones. They are the best parents I have ever seen. Yay! They're really. Ken and I have been close to the family since they moved here over 20 years ago, and I have watched Charlotte grow up into this amazing young woman. I was determined to introduce her. I'd go around and somebody would look like they wanted it. I'd say, I'm introducing Charlotte. And then I was just telling the Parkers downstairs I wanted to do this, so here I am. Because anyway, of course, babies are born obviously with some father and mother traits in them. But in Charlotte, the traits are so distinctive, Jean's and Jerry's. I've never seen anything like it. She has Jean's beauty and kindness, such sweetness, and Jerry's get up and go. I mean, if you know already. But I always thought no one is as sweet as Jean Jones, and I thought Melanie in Gone with the Wind. Well, and then I thought, how boring. Because Jean and Charlotte are so hip and cool and fun, we'll forget Melanie, old boring Melanie. Okay. Jerry Jones is such a proud father, as proud as I am, for good reason. Charlotte gets Jean's beauty and her sweetness, but her dad's, I've just said that, okay. He has to be the greatest salesman in history. I don't think the NFL knew to even sell T-shirts till he came along. So anyway, in the video, you saw that Charlotte transferred from this comfortable private school in Little Rock. She wanted to go to Central High School, and she did. And she was in the minority there, but she wanted to go there. And she was valedictorian. I'm so impressed. I want everybody to be impressed. She was valedictorian, and then she applied to Stanford. That was the only school she applied, and got in. So that tells you something about her brains and her determination and her independence, really, in wanting to change schools in her parents' letter. So after she graduated from Stanford, she went to Washington, D.C. at 21 and was chief of staff for an Arkansas congressman who was not well liked and was very difficult, and it was an extremely difficult time for Charlotte. But her parents saw how well she handled it and that she could be tough if the occasion called for it. I think it was in Washington when maybe Jerry and Jean went up and said they had something they wanted to talk to the whole family about, and that was they were thinking about buying the Dallas Cowboys, but some of their inheritance might be involved in this, and they wanted everybody's vote, and it was unanimous, and of course that was just a brilliant move for everybody. After they became successful and settled in Dallas, Jerry started to realize that the NFL enjoyed an inordinate amount of visibility and popularity and was the most watched program on TV. So he thought, we should take this strength that we've got, being, the number one show, and really use it for good. And so he kind of wanted to be another Jerry Lewis, or he didn't want to be Jerry Lewis, but he wanted to have something that did that much good and that was that constant and that highly regarded. And it really, I don't know how long that has gone on, but it was a good idea to have that. So he took Charlotte. He said, Charlotte, you go find us something that's either national or internationally known, highly regarded, and that we can adopt. So she asked Steve Reineman, many of you know Steve, and he said, Salvation Army is just, it was a perfect fit. They started, it's been 16 years now that they do the halftime show on Thanksgiving. And it was, when they met the Salvation Army, it was just a match made in heaven, because this show brings out, with the Red Kettle Project, they have taken in $1.6 billion. Now that just shows you. That's yay. So I've sat by Charlotte many times on Thanksgiving afternoon up in their family box, and it's so much fun. But I try to be quiet because she's concentrating on the halftime show. Her earphones have earphones, and she just had an iPad before anyone had invented it. I mean, she's got all this equipment, and pulls off this elaborate show. I told her today, I said, you can and should run the next Summer Olympics. So she's capable of that. So I don't know, hope she's thinking it over. Charlotte did such an amazing job that she has been elected. This has been elected the first woman chairman of the NFL charities. And they have $300 million. So because of what she did, which I'll tell you in a minute about the Salvation Army National Advisory Board, this moved her to another level. Well, not really, but just to something that she could manage because of her experience. I think for her to be asked to do this was a tremendous honor. They knew they could count on her to do it wisely and well, and she has. So that's. Now I'm going to close with another honor Charlotte was asked about 5 years ago, to be the first woman to chair the National Board of the Salvation Army, and the youngest. My older daughter, Sally, has been on that board for 18 or 20 years, so she has observed her firsthand the last few years. And my younger daughter, Susan's here, and she's been on the Dallas board and works with the auxiliary. We're really a Salvation Army family, in case you haven't figured it out. And but anyway, so Sally has observed her. They have 4 meetings a year, 4 national meetings. They're due to meet in Boston tomorrow. So Charlotte will hear late this afternoon whether that meeting is called off after the horrible tragedy up there yesterday. But Sally can't wait to get to the phone to call me and tell me what Charlotte's done that time. She'll say, she's so impressed with Charlotte's leadership. I said she could barely wait to call me and tell me about it. Her leadership is serious but fun. I always think you ought to have fun with whatever you're doing. She has energized, that's Sally's word, energized the entire national board. She has the tremendous support of both parents, and that just goes a long way. She has the vision. She uses her vision with the Army and lifts them up. But the line Sally used to describe her that really got me was, she said, she leads with her heart. When I mentioned, tell me about Charlotte, she said, she leads with her heart. And I thought, think of all this beautiful young woman has accomplished in her lifetime, and yet the strongest thing that can be said about her or any of us is that she leads with her heart. After that, what really matters? Where's Charlotte? I want you to see darling Charlotte and her shoes. Charlotte, where are you?
Janie and I are so happy to be here again this year with the Volunteer Center to present this wonderful award to our adorable friend with the cute shoes, Charlotte Jones Anderson.
Well, this is a little overwhelming. I must say, I'm not used to being on this side of things. And, I ran in, when I first heard about this, I had just run into Troy Aikman, and somehow this came up, and he said, I don't know about that. I don't accept Lifetime Achievement Awards. I thought that was a little odd, and, I looked at him and I said, well, why not? And he, Troy doesn't mince words. And he looked right at me and he said, because I don't want people to think that I'm old. Well, I don't want people to think I'm old either. But, and I responded to him and said, Troy, our birthdays are only 4 months apart. So, hopefully that's really not the reason why I'm here. But it is overwhelming and amazing to share the stage with so many people that I truly respect and care a lot about. Emmett and Pat, you all are amazing. I hope you know how much I think about you. And Emmett, since you brought it up, 1990 was when you got here. And I do remember that very well. Actually, you stepped off the plane and you were wearing this black suit that had these huge yellow polka dots. It's kind of like a confused bumblebee, went for the dots instead of the stripes, with a vest and a yellow shirt and a flat top, and just crazy. And it was my responsibility to get him to a radio show. And many of y'all remember Ron Chapman. Well, he had this very incredible radio show that was live, and Emmett was supposed to be the guest, and I really didn't trust him to get there. So I said, I'm going to pick you up. And so I did, and what he says in my cute little car. And off we went to Dave & Buster's, and we got there like 45 minutes early, and he was so mad. And we were pacing around. I said, let's just go play games, while we're waiting. So we did. And, about 20 minutes later, the general manager came up and he said, oh, are you all here for the radio show? I said, yes, we're ready to go back. And he said, well, that's great, except you're at the wrong Dave & Buster's. So if any of y'all know Dave & Buster's, both of them are on Walnut Hill, but one is on 35 and the other is on 75. And if you ever tried to make it between the two at 6 o'clock at night, I'm not sure that you're going to get there anytime soon, but sure enough, we jumped in our car and we were flying down the highway and down 635, and I was trying to go in and out of the cars, and Emmett was so mad. He was like, can't you make this thing go? Can't you drive this car? And just, and we had the radio on, and all of a sudden, Ron Chapman comes on, and of course, the show's starting, and we're still sitting in traffic, and he says, well, tonight our featured guest was Emmett Smith, but he's not here. And Emmett just looks at me and he just goes on and on. He goes, usually our guests are here on time. But Emmett, he can find his way around and through every defensive lineman in the National Football League, but he can't find his way from one Dave & Buster's to the next. So anyway, needless to say, our experience, I think we've both learned a lot. If you saw Emmett earlier, he looks a whole lot better in his outfit. And I have a GPS, so enough said there. But Janie and Nancy, y'all are amazing, and we share a lot in common, and it's not just volunteerism. We both have rock star moms, and Mayor Strauss, thank you. Mayor Strauss, we all know the incredible legacy that she left on this city. She loved Dallas so much, and she certainly taught her daughters the right thing, to give back and to help this community to be a better, stronger place. And I thank them for being involved here today. Ward and Michelle, Captain Michelle Matthews and Major Ward Matthews, it's been said that the purpose of life is to live a purposeful life. Well, I think the Salvation Army embodies that statement. They are the men and women in blue uniform who work tirelessly day in and day out without accolade. They are humble stewards of other people's generosity, and they truly do feed empty souls and hungry hearts. They are a constant inspiration to me, and I am just daily awed by what they do. And I thank them for all that they do. And if you ever have a desire to tap into your servant heart, spend some time with the Salvation Army. They are truly doing the most good. So thank you for being here. It's very special to have you here. And of course, Ruth, the grande dame of Dallas. Wow, to be up here with her, there is no greater honor than to be complimented by Ruth Alshuler. She has been an incredible mentor for me and my mom, and she has been an unbelievable friend and someone whose wisdom that I will always take to heart and hope to always emulate. So it's very special for her to be up here. And Julie Thomas with the Volunteer Center, 26 years of devotion to the Volunteer Center. That is incredible, so I have to applaud you. She is amazing, and I thank you, and you are an inspiration to all of us as well. And I have been very blessed to grow up in a loving, supportive home with parents who constantly challenged us to be the best that we could be, who provided us with everything. But more important than that, they had more confidence in us than we even had in ourselves. And they always pushed us to do bigger and better things. And they also taught us that to whom much is given, much is required. They taught us the importance of hard work, and they taught us the importance of giving back to others. I hope that I have been able to share half as much wisdom with my children as you have with us. So thank you so much for everything that you have given to us. And, excuse me, you know, it was Winston Churchill who once said that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And I have been fortunate enough to spend the past 20 years with the Dallas Cowboys working alongside my family. And we've realized that we had the power to use the visibility of who we were with the Cowboys to transfer that over to a more important thing, to help others and to give back, and to help other organizations do the job that they need to do, and let us give them some attention for doing it. You know, perhaps the greatest responsibility that we have with the Dallas Cowboys is what we can do to help those in need. We know that people don't stand in line and buy tickets to see grace and mercy at work. And we know they don't fill the stands and cheer for acts of compassion, because compassion is not a spectator sport. Everyone has to play. And that's where the Volunteer Center comes in. They give everyone a chance to play. They connect the volunteers with the organizations who need their help so much and daily are changing lives in our community. And now today, they're bringing it to the next generation and bringing families so that we teach our kids the right thing to do. And speaking of families, I want to recognize mine, Paxton and Shai and Haley, who unfortunately is not here, and my wonderful husband, Shai. I thank you all for your support and your patience and your love and your tolerance for burnt toast and takeout food. But you have always been an inspiration to me, and for that I am thankful for you as well. And of course to all my great friends and extended family members who are also here, and all of you who came out to support the Volunteer Center. They need your support so they can help others. And you all have definitely demonstrated that here today, and with our wonderful chairs who have been able to raise so much money this afternoon. So thank you for that. And you know, I want to say this one last thing is, you know, my father, he's always said that we stand upon the shoulders of those who have come before us so that we can reach greater heights. I thank my parents for your steadfast shoulders. And I thank those of you today in the Volunteer Center for this award. It is overwhelming, but it's not for me. It's for the people like the Matthews and for Julie Thomas, who dedicate their lives to helping other people. Thank you.